The following episode may contain inappropriate material. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Mattalk. Ride a horse, watch an elephant, join the clown show, because we all float here. I don't know how clowns were ever a thing, John.
I
I
don't-
don't get it.
I don't get it either. I've never much liked clowns, personally. So I don't know. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Mattalk. Jason and John back at you with another great episode of Matlock. Before we dive into it,
It
let's
really
talk.
was a great episode of Matlock. I'm just going to spill the beans a little bit, but I get confused. Like, I was really confused watching this show because there's a not a Married with Children, sorry. There's a Murder, She Wrote episode where she goes to a circus and there is an elephant like there is in this episode. And in that episode, I think the elephant's trained to put its thing down by a wave and it crushes a guy's head. So I was waiting for that sequence to happen in this show. And it never happened.
Well, I don't know what to say about this episode. There's quite a few things that are noteworthy. You know what? I'm surprised that there was a clown episode for Murder, She Wrote. There's a clown episode for Matlock. Was there a clown episode for Perry Mason?
I don't know. That is a very good... I'd imagine... I know there was a circus episode of Monk. A lot of these shows follow the same format. I'm pretty sure there was a circus episode of Psych. Like, you get the obligatory wrestling episode, you get the obligatory person on trial, like the main character being on trial of some sort. So I'm sure there was.
Huh. You know what, folks? If you know for certain if there was, you can get a hold of
The
us.
clumsy clown.
There you go. Wait, did you already look it up?
Yeah. 4 years after a half owner of a circus is mauled by a tiger.
Okay. Well, there you go. We got a hat trick for clown episodes. There you go. Actually, Jason, I was going to say that if people wanted to chime in, how can they get a hold of us?
They can email us at bnmattalk@gmail.com.
Or you can find us on Twitter at MattTalk_podcast or on Facebook at MattTalk_podcast.
I gotta say, man, Raymond Burr, better with the beard.
Oh, yeah, definitely. He looks more distinguished and looks more like an attorney, if you will, with the beard, I think. I don't know, Again, folks, you can chime in and let us know and what you think about Perry Mason, beard or no beard. But with that, Jason, shall we jump on into it, man?
Let's clown around.
All right. With that, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into our opening statements. The episode is called, well, quite frankly, The Clown. And its original air date was October 24th, 1989. Jason, I got to be honest with you. This is an episode where a lot of the guest stars have a ton of like one and dones, where they've been on an episode of Wings or the A-Team or Quantum Leap, and that was it. So it was real tough finding some individuals that had quite a lengthy resume. But let's run down a couple. First of all, one of our main characters, Al Tomberg, will be played by the actor Gary Frank. Now, you may know Gary Frank as the Seaside Strangler on Silk Stockings, Alan Rawling on Hunter, Detective James Jarvis on Remington Steele, and Winston Stiles on The Streets of San Francisco. And just real quickly, I've got to ask, did you ever watch Silk Stockings?
I have not. What is Silk Stockings? Break it down for me.
It was basically a detective show. It came on after WWE Raw, so they always, in that 10 o'clock slot from 10 to 11, they always advertised as the final round of Raw was wrapping up. So I've watched maybe like 2 episodes, and that's it. So
I can't believe that we're not into the 90s yet with this show.
Not yet. Soon, but not yet. All right, let's talk about another guest star, and I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly because I'm not sure. Sek Verl She will be playing the role of Sheila Carver, aka the Snake Lady, but you may also know her as Gail Keller from NYPD Blue, Lula Phillips on The X-Files, Judy in Hollywood Vice Squad, Jenny Slayton in Silk, and, oh my, a favorite of mine, Santanella in Hell Comes to Frogtown.
Nice. Yeah, she was in an episode of Murder, She Wrote and Jake the Fat Man, but I'm sorry, Perry Mason, not Murder, She Wrote, and Jake the Fat Man. Oh, she was in Murder, She Wrote.
What? We have a hat trick?
We have a hat trick plus.
Woo! Woo! I need to find a sound effect of a goal.
It looks like she quit acting 2001. We should reach out to her.
Well, I would love to talk about Hollywood Vice Squad, Silk, and Hell Comes to Frogtown. All these fantastic kind of B-level movies from the 80s, especially Hell Comes to Frogtown. Oh my God, that's a wild ride with starring, of course, Roddy Piper. He's not as good as he was in They Live, but it's a movie. We'll just say that it's one you need to check out. All right, and our final guest star is a gentleman by the name of Ray Burke, who will be playing the role of Simon LeSimple, and you may know him as Walt Twitchell from Cheers. Superintendent Stoneman on Saved by the Bell, The College Years. Oh, excuse me, The New Class.
Very different, bro.
I'm so sorry. I know I don't want to insult your fandom.
New Class was not great.
He was also Mr. Dipburna on The Wonder Years, and you may know him best as the villain Pap Schmear on the Naked Gun movies.
You say Pap Schmear?
Yeah, Pap Schmear. Remember him? He was the villain in 1 and I think 3. I think he returned in 3. I'm not sure, but he definitely was number 1. He was who?
He was in 1 and 3.
Nice. Yeah. So, although you don't get to really see him because he's in his clown makeup the whole time, because Simon LeSimple will be the main antagonist, and he's always dressed up as a clown.
He was also in the George Carlin Show, which, if anybody out there knows where this show is streaming, could you please let me know? Because I saw 1 episode back in the day, and I'd really like to check it out because I love that man, and I haven't seen this at all.
I got to be honest, I was unfamiliar that he even had a show, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it was on, I think it was on either before or after Married with Children. I think it was a Fox show. They did, it looks like 2 seasons.
Huh.
And then it got canceled. I want to see what George Carlin on network television looks like.
Mm-hmm. That is a very good curiosity to have, because they probably had standards and practices on speed dial to check and make sure everything that he was saying or doing was A-okay for broadcast.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a sitcom, so it would have been edited prior, but definitely kind of something I kind of want to check out. Because George Carlin didn't do a lot of mainstream stuff. I mean, his stand-up became mainstream, but...
Hey, he's the best part of Jersey Girl. And I know everybody rags on that movie, but I'm like, you got to give George Carlin some props in that film. He helped to carry that story. It's not a great story, but he helped to make it much better.
Jersey Girl was fine. George Carlin was amazing in that movie. His one-liners were great.
Absolutely.
And I know Kevin Smith has recently been screening Jersey Girl, the Snyder Cut. So I hope maybe that sees the light of day outside of his personal movie theaters that he owns.
Well, Jason, at this point, I have a question to ask you. It's a very important question. Are you ready to give an opinion? Your opinion and solely your opinion, so help you?
Clowning do.
Then it's time to
clown around.
Testify. No, not clown around. No, testify. The clown puns, I tell you. Anyways, the plot of this episode is Mattalk must help a circus clown accused of murder. First of all, before we start, were you a fan of the circus? Did you ever go to the circus as a kid?
I've been to the circus. It was fine. Not really a circus guy. I think I've gone maybe once or twice. I vaguely remember walking in, and I believe some of the Shires were there, which is why I remember it. The Shriners were there. That's how I remember it. But because I was a big Ray Stevens fan, so the Shriner song was something I liked back then. But it's fine. Clowns, didn't really like clowns even as a kid, even before I saw Stephen King's It. Clowns just never really did it for me. I didn't really get the shtick. But yeah, this episode has clowns in it.
I don't think I've ever been to a circus, and I'll be honest, I don't know if I really would have liked it because it just doesn't seem like it was in my wheelhouse. Like seeing animals and clowns, and I think the only thing I would have enjoyed was the trapeze artist, probably because that had like a sense of danger to it. But otherwise, yeah, I wouldn't probably have enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure.
I probably enjoyed it. I probably got circus peanuts, which are gross, and I probably got those big elephant. I think what are they called? Elephant toes or whatever. The pink candies or orange candies. Yeah. I probably got some of those. And have you tried eating those as an adult? They're not good. Popcorn. I probably had fun in the moment, but if it's not movie related, it's not something I seek out. Even as a 3-year-old who was programming VCRs at 2.5. True story. I never really wanted to do things outside of that.
I am impressed that you were programming VCRs at 2 years old.
I had to tape The Wizard of Oz, man. I did not want to miss it.
Okay.
I taped over something of my mom's to tape The Wizard of Oz, but I did tape The Wizard of Oz. I didn't tape all of it, so like I got it started, and I got up until I think the colored part of the movie, and then I cut off. But I was getting him. I was beginning of my obsession.
Okay. All right. Which are better peanuts? The peanuts you get at Texas Roadhouse or the peanuts at the circus?
I'm sure they're the same peanuts. I was talking about the elephant things.
Oh, what about peanuts at a baseball game? Are they better than the circus peanuts?
I think they're all the same. Isn't a peanut a peanut?
Well, you know what I think is the best peanuts of them all? The ones done by Charles Schultz. Oh, there's a joke for you.
You know, it's funny, man. My whole life, I kept saying I don't like chunky peanut butter. It's not my thing. I accidentally bought a thing of chunky peanut butter last time I was at the grocery store because I was in a hurry. I was doing it during my lunch break. I got home, realized it was chunky peanut butter, and I'm like, crap. So then I was like, I'm going to make a sandwich. I'm going to use this and save the creamy for my daughter. And it's not bad.
Okay. I prefer creamy. I'm a creamy.
I do too. I mean, that's always going to be the preference. I'm just saying it's not bad. It's just like having peanuts in your peanut butter.
All right, well, let's get to the opening scene of this episode where you're going to have a bunch of circus folks. Some of them are riding in a horse-drawn cart. Others are walking behind. And we see that Simon LeSimple is performing tricks with a bullwhip. And it's kind of like the dry run, the rehearsal, if you will. And Al Tomberg is very upset because he feels like this act is taking way too long. Simon disagrees.
We can't be turning tricks in front of children. That's right, folks. I am 7.
That's okay. That's all right. That worked. But then, man, I'll tell you what. Simon LeSimple is a jerk because he ends up insulting Dodo, which is another clown, then trips Dodo, and then goes about sexually harassing Yolanda. Man, oh man, this guy. Phew. What a gigantic ass.
Simon is one of the worst. Oh, he sucks.
He says to Yolanda something about, or not to Yolanda, but to Jim, oh, that's tasty. I'm like, that's disgusting. You should never refer to a woman as tasty. That's gross.
Yeah, I thought that too. There's a couple things in this episode that I'm surprised made it past the censors in the 80s. But yeah, no, I didn't like this guy. And again, one of the things I'm really liking about season 4 is we spend a lot of time in the build-up. Like the first, Mattalk doesn't appear until 11 minutes and 30 seconds into the episode, which I'm liking. I mean, sure, I want more Ben. It helps the overall story that they're spending time developing the incident, developing the characters that we're going to explore, helps with the red herrings. Mm-hmm. And I'm liking season 4, and of course, season 4 is kind of a model for how they do these kind of shows now.
Absolutely. Well, Simon chastises Homer, who's his partner, and he's like, "You were off, and you don't have it anymore. You're getting old. I need to find a new partner." So he breaks up the partnership, and they start arguing. Al Tomberg comes out and breaks it up. Simon insults Tomberg. You know what? Something about his father was a drunk and a bum or something, and I thought that was classless. And meanwhile, Dodo's doing all the weird little like hand gestures to cheer up Homer. And then we cut to the main part of our tale here. There's another rehearsal. I think I'm not sure because it seemed like it was a rehearsal, but yet there were like a lady and some kids in the crowd, so I didn't know if it was live or if it was doing a rehearsal. But nonetheless, they're doing the cop shtick where Homer writes up Simon for parking violations and whatnot in his car, and then ends up strangling him and stuffing him in the car, and then pushing the clown car into the clown garage. My only thought was, Jesus, you would let your kids see this ultra-violent like attack between two clowns? That was a little harsh.
This is why I don't get clowns, Sean. Nothing about this chick. I don't understand. Like, this all seems very feasible to me for a clown show. I mean, I don't know if they were like that back then or not. Like, I have my memory of this circus is literally walking through and seeing a Shriner only because of the Ray Stevens song. So, like, I'd have no memory of seeing a clown show. I just remember not finding them funny.
Yeah, my buddy does not find them funny. He said the only true clown that he appreciates are A, the Joker, B, the clown from Spawn. Remember him, played by John Leguizamo in the movie, and Pennywise, because they're all evil and they don't pretend that they're not evil and they're nice, because he always feels like there's this dark side to every clown, that they're happy-go-lucky, but in reality, they would slit your throat in a heartbeat and kill you on the spot. So those three are the only good clowns.
Yeah, see, I beg to differ. I think that there's many more, and they are known as the killer clowns from outer space. I just watched that for the first time, and I loved it. So,
all right, I'm going to throw it out there, too. I will say this, mad props to the clowns that have kept it real for like 25 years without any type of hype for their music or whatnot. Let's give it up for the Insane Clown Posse. What? No, Jason Chiggins said no. Don't give it up for the Insane Clown Posse. I disagree. See, look, I'm not a fan of their music. I'm not a fan of the band, but you got to give them credit, man. That was like a 15-minute like dose of fame that they've stretched out to 25 years, man.
Dude, they have their fans. I mean, I don't dislike their music. I don't love their music either. Like, there's some songs that they have that are deep, very, very deep. But I'm not a huge fan. I'm an Eminem fan, and can't really be a fan of both.
Oh, okay. Why is there some type of friction? Oh,
yeah, they used to be, but it's not. The friction's gone now. They're okay. All cool.
Well, let's get back to the episode. Yolanda is up on the flying trapeze next, and while they're doing that, like a stage manager and Homer go to the garage, and they're like, "Hey, Simon, let's go." But Simon is dead. And that leads to the cops showing up and arresting Homer. Ben comes to police headquarters, and I love how just like nonchalantly he's like, "You're really a clown." What? Like Bob Brooks would make fun. Like, hey Ben, we got, what we got next? We got a clown down here. Yeah, ha 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 ha. Like, that's a joke that he would play or something. I think that would be like a horrible joke, because it would be like taking all of Ben's time, and as we know, his time equals money.
Yeah, and to be fair, I'm sure there's some lawyers that get the calls like, wait till you see this guy I got for you. He's a real clown, just meaning he's either dumb or like out there. So I could see Ben like looking for somebody who's just completely like gone, like a clown, like a goofball maybe. And he walks in, he sees that the guy is actually a clown, because he still has his clown makeup on, right?
Yeah, he has remnants of it on. Yeah, absolutely.
And the cops didn't let him take a shower?
No. Oh, no, man. No. Come on. You just got to have clothes on. Then let's go. So basically, Ben interviews Homer, and Homer talks about his career and his partnership with Simon, and that he didn't do it. And so we cut to a scene in Ben's office where Homer and Ben are watching the tape of their rehearsal when Conrad arrives. And Conrad kind of has this theory that, oh man, you could easily like kill somebody because everybody's watching Yolanda, no one's watching the garage, yada, yada, yada. But Ben goes, hey, look, there's 40 seconds in between the end of the clown show and the beginning of Yolanda's act, and that's not a lot of time to kill somebody. So Ben then goes to the circus. And I got to be honest with you, I thought that this would, I figured that this was going to be predominantly a Conrad episode, which it turns out to be. But I thought that, like, Ben going to the circus, it kind of surprised me that they did it this quickly. in the show. But he goes, and
I remember seeing this episode.
Do you on like TV?
I remember this was one of the shows I would catch on reruns. I think on TBS when I'd stay home from school to watch Matlock. Oh, dude, and ask me, like, I used to fake being sick just so I could see the second part of a Matlock episode the next day.
Oh, I know. People, you don't understand. He did. I know. He's that committed.
I'd stretch it out. Be like, I really just got to find out who killed this guy on
Matlock. Mom, I'm so broken up over the fact that Jerry got killed on Matlock. I
got to find out what happened on Matlock, and then All in the Family. Like, what happened? Not All in the Family. What was Days of Our Lives? Maybe it was Days of Our Lives. Or All My Children. Or, no, it definitely wasn't General Hospital. I think it was Days of Our Lives. Which one had the hourglass?
That's Days of Our Lives.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
I'd watch that with my mom. I was sick.
Worthington City Schools. If you're looking to find out why students are missing from class, maybe tune into Me TV and see what they're watching. Anyways, so Ben is outside Al's trailer with the Snake Lady, aka Sheila Carver, and I enjoyed that Ben was a little bit hesitant to have anything to do with snakes. And Sheila basically wants money for some new cages. She kind of talks a little bit about her experience working with Al. And so that is that. The next scene, Ben talks to Dodo the clown because Dodo, just a few moments before, had thrown something in the trash. Ben goes garbage picking and finds out it's a journal, it's a ledger, and that Dodo was paying $1,000 to Simon every month. And then, Jason, are you ready for this? This is mind-blowing. This is the most controversial part of this episode, that Ben finds out Dodo is what?
A woman. Did they not have women clowns?
Yeah, I don't know if there was women clowns. I'm assuming there was in the 80s. I don't know. One of my good college friends, he had a cousin that went to clown college in Tampa, Florida. Like Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus had a clown college. He went there for a couple of years and got a certificate that he could be a clown.
Nice.
So Ben interviews Jim Roper, and Jim is the guy, the daredevil that shoots himself out of a cannon. Jim has some very harsh words about Simon. And what do you know? At the end of this scene, we find out, guess who is undercover, man? It's Conrad. And so Ben also interviews Al Tomberg. Ben marvels over this carousel replica that Al has in his office. And it's revealed that Al was left the circus. His father died and left him the circus. And Tomberg hates everything about the circus. He hates everything about it, which I thought that was a weird plot hole. And they're going to explain later on in the episode, like, why he doesn't get rid of it, which I thought was very weird. Like, I didn't get that. And we'll talk more about that in a few minutes. So Conrad witnesses Sheila and Al arguing, and Al ends up sneaking into his bookkeeper's trailer. So that raises some suspicion that something funny might be going on with the books. I like that Ben and Conrad had an incognito meeting. And again, it's mentioned that Dodo is a woman. I tell you, Ben can't get over that, can he?
They have a woman clown. Her arms are very strong. I touched them.
I forgot about that. Yeah, like that wasn't weird at all. Not at all, man. So Conrad is instructed to keep an eye on Jim and to keep an eye on Dodo. And when both Ben and Conrad leave, Jim appears from behind something. I don't remember if it was an elephant or some structure or something, and he overheard their conversation. And man, oh man, is he rocking a Canadian tuxedo. I'm telling you right now, denim from head to toe, yo. Head to toe. So Conrad sneaks into Al's office. Al catches him and thinks that Conrad is a burglar. What is next is freaking amazing, because Al goes, hey man, you can have whatever you want. And then out of nowhere pulls a 357 out of thin air. And he really, really wants to use this gun. He says it, and then he really, really shows it through his actions. And that's why I was like, this might be a little bit, I don't know, a little tawdry, if you will. Thankfully, Jim shows up and diffuses the situation. I like, again, how he goes, oh, no. Jim says this guy's an employee. Does Al not know who he's employed? Is he that bad of a manager of this circus?
Yeah.
Jason shaking his head. Yes, he is that bad.
On an audio podcast, I'm shaking my head like a total dweeb.
But yeah, he apparently doesn't care who's on, or doesn't know, I should say, who is on the payroll. So we cut to the courtroom, and Al is on the stand, and guess who's made his return? The man, the lawyer, the legend, Hangman Hawkins.
Yeah.
He's back, and maybe this time, he's going to beat Ben. He's had him close, had him on the ropes. But can the Hangman finally pull off the victory? We'll see here in a few moments. Ben presents that Al has had 3 different accountants, that he keeps firing accountants because the accountants have figured out that maybe, just maybe, Al is skimming a little bit off the circus. And here we go. This is the part that I mentioned just a few moments ago. Ben reveals that Al has to remain owner of the circus per his dad's instructions, and he can't sell the circus, which I think is the stupidest idea ever. Why not get rid of it? And I mean, you loved it, you wanted it, but you're dead now, so why would you put the handcuffs on your kid?
And his kid was an ass, but we kind of already know he is.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe, but
He's
I don't know. Just
I've been watching Succession lately, so
okay.
Maybe he just wanted to like teach his kid a lesson in death.
I guess, I don't know, but I was like, that seems to be just a giant plot hole there.
And he can't sell it, so is he allowed to give it away?
Instead of running it into the ground, because that's the thing, is he's going to run it in the ground and skim from the top. Yeah, just like, why doesn't he just be an absent owner? Like, let somebody else be the manager. He stops by every 3rd or 4th show. You know what I mean? Like, that just would have been a better explanation, I guess, of why he's still, he can't get rid of the circus. I don't know. It just was weird.
I mean, you could just be like, hey, I'm going to give you the circus, and then you're going to donate to my GoFundMe or whatever they had in the 80s this amount of money. So you're not buying the circus from me. I'm giving it to you, but you're going to donate to me let's say once a year, lump sum.
So basically, he's strong arming him like he's a godfather in the mafia.
Or it's something like, just the circus is yours. Do with it as you please. Just make sure you run it well. And then put me on payroll. That's not selling it.
No.
That's being an inactive employee.
He could be a consultant. There you go. Okay. See, we should write for Mattalk. Nah, I mean, in 1989, not now. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. But what? It's so frustrating, John. This new Mattalk. You had to bring it up.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Public service announcement to everybody who hasn't read my public service announcement. It is not a reboot.
Okay. All right. Actually, we talked about this. I'm watching Better Call Saul, and in season 1, there's a lot of Mattalk references. So see, they could do the same thing in the new one. Haha, this guy also has your last name, but I don't know. They're not going to do it, I guess.
Yeah.
Instead, we're stuck with the tongue-in-cheek, haha, she has his last name, and there's an old TV show. I don't know. I'm sorry. We're getting off on a tangent, ladies and gentlemen. That's not what you're here for. You're here to find out what we thought about the clown. Let's keep moving on. Sheila can crush Al's alibi of watching the rehearsal and the act because she was there, he was not there, and Al admits he was in the office cooking the books. So Jim is training an elephant, and he chats with Conrad and reveals that he's done this, he's been in this business for a long time. He's jack of all trades. Conrad said, let's go get a beer. Jim says, okay, let me go shower up. And meanwhile, while I assume Jim is at the bar, Conrad sneaks into his trailer. And he finds some old scrapbook, and he takes a few things out of it. And then as he leaves, he's KO'd by a clown. Who was the clown? That's what I want to know. Because it wasn't Dodo, and it sure as heck wasn't Simon. So who was it?
The clown was the guy, the son.
It was Al?
Mm-hmm.
He was dressed up as a clown to KO Conrad?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'd have to go with.
I don't know. I think it was some auxiliary clown that we never met.
It's kind of a spoiler alert for the end of this.
So what we find out in Ben's office is that Dodo's kid had a car accident, or was involved in an accident, I should say. And that $1,000 a month was to help pay for medical bills because Simon loaned the money to Dodo. However, it's at 23% interest. So Ben leaves a voicemail for Conrad, but guess what, Jason? Conrad can't return that call. You know why? He's doing his Siegfried and Roy impression. He's in the tiger cage.
Nice.
I really would like to know. Obviously, I think that I know that they did a lot of jump cuts, but I wanted to know, like, especially the last part when he starts petting the tiger. I want to know how they filmed that. I'm very curious on that.
It's just a really well-trained tiger.
Maybe. I guess it better be. Conrad tames the beast, and Ben arrives and saves Conrad, but I love as soon as he enters the tent, he goes, "What are you doing in there?" Like, that was by design, that, you know. Conrad was like, "I'm just going to go inside this cage." I like it. It was funny. It made me chuckle. All right, we go to the courtroom. Ben is cross-examining Jim, who's on the stand. Why was it so hot in the courtroom? I mean, I think that's kind of like a stereotype of many court dramas, is it's always hot. You know what I mean? Jim's folks were employed by the circus, and basically Simon had his family fired. Jim's dad was killed in a car accident, but it's hinted at that it could be possibly a suicide.
Mm-hmm.
So Ben believes this is time for revenge, man. So pulling up the 2 VCRs that you obviously would have programmed already, we see that Mattalk presents 2 tapes. One is the rehearsal, one is the actual last live performance. And what is noticed is that Simon uses a different hand in the act. And Ben says, "Hey, Jim, you use your left hand to sign autographs." So Ben's theory is that Jim was Simon, dressed up like him. Jim killed Simon prior to the act, and then, you know, had the time to switch him out into the clown garage. But you know what gives it all away?
What's that?
The sneeze. The sneeze is that indeed, maybe, just maybe, Jim was allergic to the wig that was worn by Simon. And in fact, the wig is there in the courtroom, and Jim sneezes. Mattalk goes, "Gotcha." And that's the end of the episode. Okay, one thing I didn't talk about here real quick. I did like how the judge was finally fed up with Matlock's shenanigans, and he was putting his foot down. Jason, do you have any other notes or anything as well, or no?
No. I don't have anything else except for
our closing statements.
This is the part of the podcast where John and I will give the show a rating on a gavel system. 1 gavel means we absolutely hated it. 5 gavels means it's amazing. If somehow we give 10 gavels, that means that we lost our minds with how awesome this episode was. So, John, how many gavels are you giving this episode?
Ooh, I think you and I, after agreeing several times in a row, I think we're going to disagree with this one. I thought middle of the road. I thought it was 3 gavels. What I liked, Ray Burke's performance of Simon was great. He was a perfect villain. I again marvel at the chemistry between Andy Griffith and Clarence, aka Ben and Conrad. Here's what I didn't like. I didn't really like that Jim portrayed Simon and was like almost exact to him. Like, I thought that was so ridiculous. And also too, the kind of the matching up of, you had 40 seconds to make the swap in the garage. I felt like that was kind of a plot hole. I personally liked the idea that Jim was getting revenge for his dad's death. I liked that, but I just thought the execution of it was a little bit wonky. But yeah, overall, like I said, middle of the road, 3 gavels.
Well, John, we differ because this episode gets another 5. I like this episode. I like this season. This is my favorite season since 2. I think 2 was the one that I loved very, very much. 3 was okay. They tried some new things with 3. But I'm digging the season. I do miss Michelle. We've like hardly seen her at all this season.
That's correct. Yeah, she hasn't been there.
But I like the episodes. I feel more involved. I feel like these are actually episodes where we could, in theory, figure out who the killer was watching it, because there's so much set up at the beginning.
And it's very well structured, too. Not to interrupt, but it's pretty well structured so far this season.
They've done a lot of that this season, and I'm digging it. I'm seeing where the influence is coming for a lot of these new shows. Like, this episode of Matlock, this season of Matlock is like CBS's template. I know, Perry Mason, all that did it before, but we're not reviewing Perry Mason, we're reviewing Matlock, and I like it. I liked Conrad. I like their interactions. They have quick chemistry, Ben and Conrad.
All right, Jason, you want to talk about the Three Geeks podcast real quick?
Yeah, Three Geeks podcast. We were live on Saturday, so go back, check that out. We had John Orlando on there. John always comes on and tells us some weird news stories that we didn't know existed or could have existed. We had Joshua Schubert on, who recently did a Fantastic Four short film because he really wants to be cast as Ben Grimm in the Fantastic Four reboot. So we get to talk to him and some Spider-Verse chat. So join us.
All right, don't forget that the PVD Cast is my own personal podcasting project. It's available at pvdcast.com or wherever you find great podcasts. Let's talk about the Larry Hankin stories. In fact, folks, if you like Larry Hankin, we have a deal for you. His book called That Guy is coming out, and you can get 25% discount if you buy the book either through Amazon or through Bear Manor Media. You just need one single code, and that code is THATCODE4, all one word. You could save 25%. You got to act soon because July 4th is when this promotion ends. And, of course, check out our project, The Larry Hankin Stories, at patreon.com/Larry Hankin. We got tiers. And you know what? I'm going to even admit something right here, right now. Jason doesn't know this is coming. We haven't updated things in a while. We need to get on that. That's our fault. But we got tons of great content. Check it out, man. Again, it's patreon.com/Larry Hankin. All right, Jason, should we get on out of here, man?
John, you've said it all.
All right, then, as they say in court, nothing further. The following is a joint production of the Three Geeks podcast and John Orlando Enterprises, LLC. Copyright 2023.